Hello, guys. Hello, 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 hello. Thanks for those of you who will be joining me and those of you who will be on the replay. I'm just going to turn off the music that's playing in my ears. There you go. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. This is just a quick one to summarize. So we just had a chat. We just finished having a chat on the Leap and Shine conference where we played host to my second speaker of the day on day 3 of the Leap and Shine conference, Halona Black. Halona was absolutely inspiring. Her story is very interesting because there's so many similarities between her story and mine. One, the fact that she loves to write, and also the fact that she just basically sees, the corporate cubicle. She describes it with pretty much the same words that I used to describe it. And what's interesting about her is she used to be caught in there, and she devised a means using her writing, using her gift, her talent. She devised a means to get out of the corporate cubicle to where she's now living the kind of life she's living, resiliently and in pursuit of her dreams, and living the kind of life that she desires. It's an amazing life. She's traveling right now. She calls it a workation. So she's at work and she's also taking a vacation. She's somewhere in Mexico right now, and she's joined us this evening from Mexico. So really, freedom of location. God knows this is one of the things that I'm about, and this is one of the things that interests me. She's joined us from possibly her hotel room in Mexico where she's currently traveling. So guys, I'm just going to quickly do a summary of what Halona had to share with us today. Like I say, she was absolutely inspiring. So many parallels between her story and my story, and I loved her story. So she said basically that, and just a quick one to tell you a little bit about who she is. For those of you who don't know her, she's the founder and creative director of digitalwellpublisher.com, and that's a multimedia publishing and training company, and it's focused on challenging coaches, speakers, and leaders to unveil their brilliance and to take center stage with their message. She teaches visionary leaders also how to harness the power of books, blogs, podcasting, and other media to attract new clients, to create new income streams, and also to become more influential in their fields. So after suffering adversity, the loss of a marriage, the loss of her mom to cancer, and she herself had issues with uterine fibroid surgery, she realized that she had to change the way that she was doing things. She no longer wanted to be chained to a desk or confined to a physical space or cubicle called an office. So she then started to research to try to discover what other things she could do that could harness her natural abilities, and that's how she started blogging. And she enjoys writing. She enjoyed the blogging so much that she was able to create a space where she could indulge her passions and also teach other people how to eat healthy, how the role that food has to play in the sense of well-being, in you feeling well, total wellness basically. And that digital platform that she created then led to cooking classes, and people were paying her for that. She became at one point a private chef, and she was being paid to do cooking classes, and right now she's writing for health companies. She's traveling, she's doing what she loves, and she herself said that if she had to envision her business the way it currently is, she could never in the beginning have looked and seen that she would have had this much success, or that she will be having this much fun. So everything has really worked out, for the best. Now, Halona believes that every human being is a creative person. And she says that you can literally create any type of life that you can envision. And that is so true. I believe that also. She says she calls herself, ask her to define herself, to talk about herself, describe herself. And she calls herself a light worker. I said, what's a light worker? She says, she spreads light, she shares light, and she also helps others to ignite their light, because a lot of us are sitting in darkness, and a lot of us don't know how that we can ignite our light and be a light, shine some light, not just on our own selves, but also on people, so that the world is brighter, the world is a better place, because we are shining our own light. So she did what she had to do to escape life in a cubicle, and she says that basically, what are the things you need to start by asking yourself the questions. What are the things that you can create? And it's always about creating, isn't it? And I like that so much, because I always say it's not really about physical products anymore in this day and age. It's not about physical products. It's about what you have up here. It's about digital products. It's about courses. It's about you monetizing the knowledge that you have, something that's just sitting dormant in your head, in your brain cells. It's about bringing it out of there and making it into a course or a digital program that then benefits someone. So it doesn't, the person doesn't have to be in your immediate personal space, but you are able to touch lives around the world. Geography doesn't define you, location doesn't define you. You have freedom of location and freedom of freedom to plan your time as you want and to live life on your own terms. And this is what this lady is about. She says there was a point in her life when her world fell apart, because she had defined herself by her titles. So she was her mother's daughter, she was a wife to somebody, and she was also a full-time doctoral student. And when she lost all of these things, her mom passed away from cancer, her marriage broke apart, and she then started to suffer health issues, and she was working so hard to serve everybody's needs, and she was neglecting her own self. She was neglecting her health, and she then fell very ill. She was also serving people in adult education. She then fell very ill, and she saw that she was nothing without. That her titles did not define her. So she had to re-find herself. She had to rediscover herself, that she was not just a wife or just a doctoral student or just a daughter to her mom, and she had to find out who she was. She started to ask herself those questions, and she discovered who she was. So two things that were instrumental to getting her out of that moment, that period when she was traumatized and in depression, was that she changed her diet. She said, quite simply, it may sound funny, but she changed the food that she was eating, because she started to eat more of raw food. And after years of eating, junk food, fast food, and all of that, she had to transition her diet to eating more of raw food. And that was something that was a turning point in her life. Something as little or as simple as changing her diet was what she says. She credits it with bringing her even closer to her higher self and closer to God than when she was just eating anything that she pleased. So also to find a place where people who are doing what you want to do are there. She says there's no one in her family that is an entrepreneur. There's no one in her family or in her immediate space that she could have learned these skills, entrepreneurial skills, from. So she had to deliberately position herself. She had to move herself from, the people who loved her, from her family, because they didn't have what she wanted at that point in time in life. She had to relocate herself to find people who had similar interests, because she was big then. She decided that whatever she wanted to do had to do with the digital space. So she had to find like-minded people. She had to find groups and networks and communities online where she was able to pick up skills and learn the things that she needed to learn. So she said she turned to social media, absolutely turned to social media, because no one in her family was into entrepreneurship and no one could teach her the skills that she was wanting to learn in order to change her life. She also says, when I asked her to define the word shine leap, she says that you need to shine leap to her means that you are making a clear decision on where it is that you want your life to go. So taking a shine leap simply means to her that you are making a clear and distinct decision on where it is that you want your life to go. And not just that, you are moving forward resolutely with steps to take you there. So you are making a clear distinct decision on where it is you want your life to go. And not just that, you are taking resolute steps forward in the direction that you want your life to go. And she says in entrepreneurship, people usually always want to start big and stress themselves out. Oh God, I need to do this. I need money to do it, to do this. I need finance. I need capital. Where am I going to get the money to do this, that, and the other? And she says that's not the place to start at all. You need to start small, and you need to start by finding out first and foremost what you're about, what your talents are, what your giftings are, what your strong points are, what it is that sets your soul on fire. And then you can begin to, so that's the part about, don't forget she's talking to us about understanding your talents and how to creatively harness them. So that's about identifying what those talents are, then understanding how they make you uniquely you, how they make you who you are. And then once you've done that, so thinking about money and thinking about where to find the finance or the capital, thinking about taking a loan or whatever is not the place to start. The place to start is finding your talent, finding your passion, finding what it is that you are about, what your strengths are that you want to then perhaps step forward with and monetize in the long run. Now, what are some of the key steps that she had to take that enabled her to make a shift in her life? Again, she comes right back to healthy eating, and also not just healthy eating, but blogging about healthy eating. That was as simple as it sounds. That is exactly what she did, that she was blogging about healthy eating. And that's what she eventually went ahead to build her business on. And then she started to take cooking lessons, which people were more than happy to pay for. She added that aspect also onto her business. She went into catering and personal chef work, where she was cooking healthy food for people, and added that as a layer onto her business. And then she went into freelance writing because she felt, oh God, she didn't really want to be at anybody's beck and call. I suppose that's a reference to the personal chef work and the catering. And she found that she was still constricted in a way. She wanted total freedom. She then went into freelance writing, working with health companies, working in a way that she could combine her writing, blogging with, her interest in cooking and healthy eating, and also influencing others to eat healthy. It's just amazing. I just see the way that she's built layer upon layer and how she's knitted it. It's almost like a tapestry. And I said to her that that's very unique how it's all come together, because sometimes when we want to step out from the 9 to 5, from the corporate, into doing our own thing, into monetizing our passion, into working for ourselves, we tend to get stressed out not knowing what it is. So for instance, you are multi-talented. Maybe you can do more than one thing well. It's not just one thing that you say, this is what I'm good at. For many of us, we can do 1, 2, 3, 4 things well. And there is always that place where we are worrying and stressing ourselves out. Well, what is it that what should I step out with? I want to escape the prison, the corporate prison, but what do I escape into? I want to take a shine leap. What do I leap into? I can do this, I can do that, I can do the other. Which one does it have to be? And some people will tell you to niche, choose one thing and focus on it. And other people will tell you, just merge it. Look for a way that all of your talents and all of your skills come together to make a harmonious whole, and then you can create a business and brand it, create a business around that. I can't tell you what's wrong or what's right, whether it's to pick one thing or to try to combine all the various aspects of you or the various talents that you have, but those are just two schools of thought. Now, she also talked about some of the habits that have kept her where she is, that have kept her successful. And she says the healthy eating is it. Making that a habit, the fact that for her, she says a salad a day keeps the doctor away. She eats huge bowls of salads, and that she loves to interact. She loves to take time. It's a therapy for her, preparing the food that she eats. Unlike most of the time these days, because life is so hurried and hassled and we're always in a mad rush, we just go and pick up anything, and we don't know where our food comes from, and we don't know how it's been made or prepared. It's usually pre-packed, pre-packaged, probably not the definitely not the healthiest options that we could, healthiest choices that we could be making in terms of what we put in our bodies. But it is life. That's the way many of us live our lives. But she decided after decades of doing that, that was no longer the way she wanted to live. So she enjoys interacting with her food before she actually consumes it. So she would spend, time, preparing her food. Sometimes she would add she would add meat. She would make the salad very big, and she would put in the right amount of, so yeah, she enjoys that. She's a foodie, obviously, but a healthy foodie, and that's really good. So she says part of the habits that she's had to cultivate that have gotten her where she is cultivating a healthy eating habit. A salad a day keeps the doctor away. Now, I asked Halona if there was one powerful, crucial, important thing that our our listeners could do to position themselves for their shine leap. What would it be? And she said that one thing would be to definitely have undying belief in yourself, that whatever ideas you have in your mind, whatever beliefs you have about your ability, that you can absolutely own that ability, you can absolutely birth those ideas. So it's not just having the idea, but it's believing that you have what it takes to birth those ideas. And I think that's really profound. That's really profound. So yesterday we were joined by Fatima Zakir from Singapore, and Fatima told us her one thing which she would say that people need in order to make a successful shine leap is love. Self-love. Love yourself, because if you don't love yourself, you can't love someone else. And Halona tells us today that it's definitely for her, it's definitely to have undying belief in whatever ideas, whatever talents, whatever strengths you have, and knowing that you have what it takes also to birth those dreams. And I think that's really impactful. And she shared with us on the subject, understanding your talents and how to creatively harness them. She says she was very passionate about her work. She didn't hate her work when she was in a cubicle. It wasn't that she hated her work, but she wanted, pretty much my story, isn't it? Pretty much she wanted to explore other ways. I have what many would call a six-figure job, six-figure income in the city of London, and my job is not horrible. It just doesn't serve my purpose anymore. And that was the same thing that she experienced. And she says that she wants to explore other ways of using her talents, other ways of expressing herself. So whilst she was working in adult education, she started a blog. So she says it doesn't have to be one or the other. So writing is something that is something that if you are passionate about it, if you enjoy doing it, you can do it on the side, because a lot of us don't do that. A lot of people don't do it. So she recommends writing and starting a blog. She actually credits it with bringing her out of her corporate cubicle, because she says it was only when she started to blog that she was able to establish herself as an authority, because she is an introvert, but she found that her blog gave her an opportunity to speak to people, an opportunity to introduce herself as this expert that that knew A, B, and C. And she said that gave her the leeway to start talking to the top people out there. And she found out that they actually respected what she was doing. They actually did see her as the expert in her field. And this was because she said she was simply writing about stuff that she was interested in, whether it was things of interest like finding funding for adult education. It was just simply things that she was interested in from her perspective. She was just sharing them out there. She started this blog, and that took her, that passion of blogging basically took her to where she is now. She started to introduce herself to people through her blog, even though she was introverted. Her blog then became her reason to talk to people who were seemingly higher up. Now she suggests, for instance, are you a good talker? If you're a good talker, then possibly podcasting, broadcasting, and all those sorts of things are things that you could consider as a side income, as something that takes your focus. Because sometimes when you're in a prison, you're in a place that doesn't serve you, that you're not happy being in, you can focus on the negative It's like, just as an example, someone who's tired of their 9 to 5, going in, day out with their shoulders bowed, carrying the whole world on their heads. Whereas you could say, okay, so this is my day job. It no longer serves my purpose. I'm no longer passionate about it, but hey, I need to be intentional, and I need to have a plan, and I need to have an escape agenda, which is what my book talks about. Prison Break, the 9 to 5 escape agenda, taking the leap from limitation into liberation. So you have to have a plan, you have to have timelines, you have to make the plan obviously very targeted. You have to have plan A, plan B, a timeline, a nice little timeline, and give yourself, give yourself the space that you need to make sure that when you escape the prison, you're not being captured and put back in. Now, my very first speaker on day 1 of the conference, an amazing lady from the US called Precious Brown. Precious shared with us how that she is still in her 9 to 5. She's planning to leave in December, and I think she might have a big party to celebrate. But guess how long her escape plan, how long she's been nurturing or working or implementing her escape plan? 3 years. 3 years. From the day that she decided she was going to exit, she's been doing it. But when you look at her, she's an amazing, very well known. She has a cult followership even in the US, and she's helping lots of women, changing people's lives. And when you see her coaching business and what she's doing, you wouldn't know that she still is holding down a 9 to 5, because some of us feel, oh, it's too much, I can't possibly do it, and all of that. But she's doing it, and she's done it well for 3 years. It served her that way, and she's done it for 3 years, and she will be leaving in December. So back to Halona. Halona said she was bold enough to build a digital footprint. That's what she calls it, a digital footprint. And so she put herself out there as an authority, rather than wait around for someone else to come and give her permission or to come and validate her. She put herself out there and said, this is what I know. And she just kept talking about what she knows, what she was passionate about, the things that mattered to her, not veering into anybody else's business or anybody else's space. And you guys will know that I always talk about running your own race, singing your own song, dancing to your own drum beat. It's not about what anyone else is doing. It's not about being like the Kardashians. It's simply about being yourself and it's so key. It's so key. I can't tell you how many times in the course of the 3 days so far I've heard one of my speakers use the word authenticity. It is so important that we are being authentic. That word authenticity, unapologetic, and resilience. Those are 3 key words that are my buzzwords in this season. So she was able to put herself out as an authority without waiting for anybody's permission. She says writing a blog helped her also to hone her skills, because the more you write, to be honest, it's sort of like a muscle. The more you write, the better you get at it. I absolutely know that. I can testify to that. The more you write, the better you get at it. It's something you perfect as you keep doing it. So she finally had to make a decision at a point in her life that she needed to leave, and she left her corporate cubicle. And today she is traveling around. She is in Mexico as we speak. She's joined me from her hotel room. She calls it a workation. She's working at the same time she's having a vacation, and she's having fun somewhere in Mexico. And I think that's the way to live life. And she says, just as as far as practical examples go, if you have a full-time job, for instance, you may decide when you start working, when you start building your dream job, you may decide that you cut down the hours on your day job so that you can also give attention to your dream job, cut down the hours, or move to a different kind of job. If your current job is one that restricts you so much that you can't really work your dream job, then it's going to keep you there until you retire. Probably expire. So what you want to do is decrease the hours you work, or move to a different kind of job that allows you to also begin to nurture your dream job on the side. And she says that your talent is something that you should be the most excited about. It's not about making $1. It's about knowing what your talent is. And then when you find out what your talent is, give yourself permission to experiment with it, and cut yourself some slack. Experiment. So you might know your talent, but you don't know exactly how to monetize it, exactly how to use it, apply it, or implement it. She says, give yourself some time, give yourself avenue, give yourself opportunity to experiment. That experimentation is absolutely necessary in the beginning. And that's basically is what Halona Black has shared with us. It's been amazing, riveting stuff. She's even giving us a free gift for all attendees at today's conference, and I think I will be grabbing myself a copy of that free gift myself. So she was absolutely inspiring, time well spent. And tomorrow, I was saying that tomorrow we have two amazing speakers also from the United States. There's a lady called Donna Bellinger Smith. She will be talking to us about assessing opportunities and making your own luck. And there's that age-old argument, success. Is it as a result of luck, or is it as a result of hard work? It's probably somewhere in the middle, if you're asking me. But yes, we will have Donna Bellinger Smith talking to us about assessing opportunities and making your own luck. And that's at between 8 and 9 p.m. And then we will have Brandy Miller talking to us about developing the confidence you need to make good your escape. Brandy is an amazing person. I love the work that she does. I've worked closely with her, especially when I was writing my book. So it will be interesting to have those two women on tomorrow on day 4 of the Leap and Shine conference. And what we're doing here is really quite simple. It is just simply having paradigm shifting and life defining conversations about the potentials for your life, about the potentials for my life. It's about how we can recalibrate our minds, how we can refocus our minds, how we can get the tools, the tips, the roadmap and the blueprint that we need to then take a shine leap into success in 2017 and beyond. And what I've tried to do is I've made the speakers as varied as possible on purpose, for a reason. And I've tried to make sure that each one of them is speaking on, hey, Joanne, thanks for dropping by. I've made sure that each one of them is speaking on their area of expertise. So we've covered so far on day 1, we had Precious Brown, talking to us about how to get out of procrastination. And we also had the amazing Charles Ajayi Kiron talking to us about how to rule your world by developing the mindset of a visionary entrepreneur. And then on day 2, we had Fatima Zakir from Singapore talking to us about the role of self-belief in handling adversity and helping you succeed. And then Gail Dudley spoke about from sleeper to heels, sharing your story. Gail is absolutely amazing. There's already opportunities. She's offered me an opportunity to work with her in she's offered me a column in her magazine, the Ready magazine. So that's good work there. Now on day 3, today, obviously day 3, we've had so far, before now, we had Cheryl Pollins, and Cheryl is a TEDx speaker. She spoke to us about what branding has to do with anything. What's branding got to do with it? How do you brand yourself? How do you brand your products? What is all the talk and all the noise and all the, about branding? And she absolutely killed that subject. And I've already done a Facebook video summarizing it. So do please feel free to view that video. And then Halona Black, who just got off now, talked to us about understanding your talents and how to creatively harness them. So it's interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. There's lots more to come. How to transition from JOB to CEO. Also business strategies for startups. Planning your exit and knowing the right time to jump, the right time to take the leap. How your story can help you escape the prison or the corporate cubicle, or how your story can open doors for you, basically. And then, of course, there will be on the last day of the conference, there will be the conveners roundup. You don't want to miss that. Yours truly will be speaking to you. The conveners roundup, and then bonuses and giveaways. So, guys, it's been going swimmingly well. We are halfway through, and I thank you for being in my corner. I thank you for being on this Facebook Live. I thank all the people who've been logging in and who've done themselves a favor, really. I mean, I've done my bit. I've convened an amazing, amazing array of speakers from around the world, like an international gathering of speakers, hey. And people have been so resolute in taking the advantage or availing themselves of the benefit, because literally so many people have been logging on and getting onto the conference, so that's good. The speakers have all been raring to go, very excited for the opportunity, so it's all good. So guys, thanks for dropping by. Thank you Ndidi, thank you Bolaji, thanks Joanne, hey, thanks for dropping by, thanks for wishing me well and being in my corner. So if you will, talk on your social media pages about this conference, even if you can't join it for one reason or the other. There must be someone in your space, in your network, who needs to see this, who needs to be on this conference. You will be doing them a favor, because the gift of knowledge will always keep giving back. Whereas if you bought them a bottle of perfume for Christmas, they'll use it up in no time. So guys, you need to be giving this as a gift. And we're only halfway through now, so you still have time to tell them to go to leapandshineconference.com and to get themselves registered. It's the leapandshineconference.com. That's where you get registered, and once you're registered and you're in a database, all the information that we have, you will get to know. Guys, if you are not yet a member of our Facebook community, the Leap and Shine community, I urge you to join that community. A lot of these speakers who are speaking now are also already members of that community, and from time to time they will be sharing their expertise, and there will be bonuses and giveaways. It's a support group where we support each other to be the best that we can. So there's amazing stuff going on, and it's a period of building for me. There's a lot going on, but yes, I'm adding layers. I'm adding those layers. So guys, thank you for watching this Facebook Live. Share it if you will. Invite someone to join the conference. It is back again. We are back with our first speaker for day 4 at exactly 8 p.m. UK time tomorrow, and the conference runs up until Saturday the 20th.